Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Rachel. Hi! Oh, again!
Oh my god!
Hey Galileo! Psst. Psst. Hey! Say hi! Welcome back to my channel. My name's Roxanne. If it's your first time here, then welcome. Today I want to talk to you guys about the next 5 books that I have read. So the first one that I'm going to talk to you guys about is, I think, a new favorite, and it is The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. This is translated from Spanish. Ruiz Zafón is from Spain, and this book is about the mystery surrounding the author of a book that a boy named Daniel finds when his father takes him to the cemetery of forgotten books. That's what it's called. So his father takes the boy to the cemetery of forgotten books. He's not allowed to tell anybody about it. He has to pick a book and promise to love it, read it, and sort of never forget it. And Daniel becomes so enthralled with the story, and he begins to ask questions about the author, Julian Carax, and he realizes that nobody really knows what happens to this guy. No one really knows much about his life. There's a lot of mystery surrounding it, and it begins to become sort of an obsession for Daniel. And so this book is about mystery. It has stories within stories. It is beautifully written. It is so atmospheric, so emotive. I was incredibly drawn to the story and to the writing. Daniel is such a charming character, and I really felt myself endeared towards him, and I wanted to read more about him. I wanted him to be happy and to succeed in finding out about Julian Carax. This book will provide you with some new favorite characters because they're just so good, and it will give you some of the characters that you will hate with the undying passion. Hate like people hate Professor Umbridge hate. That's how much I hated one particular character in this book, and it just provoked in me such emotion that I fell in love with the story. I wish there were more female characters, but the story really shows you what happens when toxic masculinity. They can hear that.
Oh, okay.
Use the mouse pad. No, just use the mouse pad.
No, it's okay.
Beth, just use the mouse pad. It's fine.
It's okay.
Or put the mouse on the couch. This book shows you what happens when toxic masculinity rules a family and it doesn't allow women to thrive. It's what happens when you don't let young people experience love, when you don't let women have autonomy over themselves, who they love, and their bodies. And that's the way that I saw it. A lot of people saw it as this is a book that shows you how just unhappy woman after unhappy woman. And yes, it does. And like I said, I do wish there were more female characters. But the way that I saw it was you get the story that gets to very core issues that we have within families and within patriarchal societies, in where we don't let young people experience love, and we don't let women have autonomy over themselves and who they love, and fathers feel ownership for the bodies of their daughters. And it just, this book is full of mystery and intrigue, and I love it so much. I know it's a series, but it could very well just stay a standalone. I don't know if I want to continue with it because I'm afraid that the next books won't be as good as this one, and I won't love them as much as I love this one. But you can read it as a series, or I think it's perfect the way it is as a standalone. So yes, there's that one. Then I read A Wonder Woman Warbringer by Leigh Bardugo. This is a YA story about Diana. It's essentially about Diana before she becomes Diana. She's still trying to figure out who she is as a person, find out where she fits within the Amazonians, prove herself as a warrior to the rest of the Amazonians and to her mom. And one day when she's participating in a race to try and prove herself, this ship sort of crosses into their island's waters, and because Diana is who Diana is, she saves a young girl, another sort of teenage girl that is in that ship, and the story takes off from there. There is a cast of pretty diverse characters. There is an overweight character. I think pretty much every other character that except for Diana is of color. Diana is described to be tanned, but she does have like blue eyes, so you're maybe thinking like just a tanned white girl. I'm not sure, but there is diversity here. I think the main characters, one of the friends that she encounters is lesbian, I believe. So it's great diversity. This is a really fun story about Diana. I liked the pacing. I liked the action. I saw a review that said there was more action. I think it was a good amount. I didn't think it was too little or too much. I think it was just right. I liked the pacing of the story, and it was just a fun, entertaining read. And I do feel like you could make a lot more stories from this, because this is kind of just the beginning of Diana's story within this world. But I think it's supposed to be a standalone, like one book. This DC icons thing, I think it's supposed to be one book per hero, but I do think you could definitely have more of these. And Leigh Bardugo sort of tries to weave in some social commentary throughout, but not in a way that you feel she's sort of preaching or that she's stepping out of her lane, because there are issues of like race that are brought up, but it's not like Leigh Bardugo as a white woman trying to tell you certain things. She tries to, I think she handles it well, and I enjoyed it. I really liked it. Then I read a non-fiction, and it is called Dr. Mooter's Marvels by Kristen O'Keefe Aptowitz. And this is essentially about the life of Dr. Mooter, his first doctor, Thomas Dent Mooter. He was a pioneer in plastic surgery. He really wanted to find a way to help people who at this time in the early 1800s were considered monsters. So, you know, monsters at that time, people who had facial deformities or any sort of body deformities, things like that. He would try and help them, and he really taught his students in ways that no other teacher at the time was doing, that to actually care for the patient and to listen to the patient, keep the patient involved in the process of their healing. And he would talk to them, and if he felt they were feeling too much pain, he would stop. He really kind of revolutionized the way in which doctors dealt with their patients. And he taught a lot of his students that care that we all kind of want in the doctors that are attending to us. There's not a lot of information out there about Dr. Mooter. A lot of the information that she gets is sort of supplementary. So other articles that were written around the time that he was born, different literature from the schools in which he taught, but he didn't keep a diary, his wife didn't keep a diary, so a lot of the stuff feels kind of supplementary. And this does read sort of like fiction, non-fiction. So if you are interested in medicine and would think that his life is something that you would be interested in, but you're not too familiar with nonfiction, this would be a good place to start, because it does sort of read like fiction. And I did read some reviews though of people who didn't like that, because she would say like he smiled or whatever, and the people are like, how do you know that he smiled? But it's very readable, it's very approachable. It is engaging, though I do feel like I don't know that much about Dr. Mooter after reading a good-sized book. She sort of delves a little bit into social topics of the time, like how women were perceived in the medical world, how they weren't allowed to be doctors, and not really much about anything else. I feel like she could have discussed more about the way in which people with deformities were viewed in that time, and even more about how he maybe revolutionized that. But everything felt very surface level, which isn't what I wanted. I wanted to delve a little bit more deeply in. And it could also be that he died at a very young age. I think he died at like 35 or something like that. So maybe it's just that there's not a lot of information about him, but then it's like, maybe don't write a book just about him. Use him within a book about things like this or people like him or this time. I just feel like it could have done more than it did, in my opinion, but I still enjoyed it, though I wish I probably would have just read it in an audiobook and been just fine. And then I have been really in the mood to read super cozy things, and that's kind of all I've been wanting to read, is just really great cozy writing or cozy books or old favorites. I literally just reread Pride and Prejudice, but I want to reread it again. It's just the mood I'm in to read things that make me feel very cozy. So I went to the bookstore and I got 2 cozy murder mysteries. They are the Bibliophile Mystery series by Kate Carlisle, and we have Homicide in hardcover and If Books Could Kill. Our main character, Brooklyn, is a book restoration expert, so she deals with restoring old books, authenticating them, things like that. And like every cozy murder mystery, she encounters murders and then somehow solves them before the police does. And they're just really cute and funny, and I like the characters. I like Brooklyn. And yeah, they've been exactly what I've been in the mood for. In the first one, her mentor is killed, and so she has to figure out who killed him, why they killed him. And then in the second, she is in Scotland for a book fair, and an ex-boyfriend of hers is killed, and she's a suspect, so she has to then figure out who killed him, why they killed him, etc. They're fun, quick, no-brainer reads. There is a little bit of problematic language within it, but you can sort of tell that it's written by an older woman who just kind of like isn't up to date with things that you should and shouldn't say. Like maybe use chubby as a descriptor, not as an insult, but if you can look past that in our in the mood for cozy books about books, then these are nice. It's not anything great. They're just what I've been in the mood for. If you can recommend any to me, especially if they're about cats or books or anything like that, then please let me know. I'm definitely in the mood for that sort of cozy feel. Been reading a lot too, which is probably why. But yeah, those are some of the books that I have read recently. I have a bunch of other books that I have to talk about, but I want to do one just about some graphic novels that I've been reading, and then I have like 3 other books that I've read, so I want to get 2 more to make the 5. So actually I think this is 1, 2, 3, okay, yeah, 5. So yeah, I want to get 2 more to make the 5 and do another one of these. So I will see you soon with another one. As always, thank you for watching and for listening. I love you guys. Let me know if you've read any of these and what you thought, and let me know your cozy murder mystery suggestions. Love you guys.